I'm Bill Thibodeau. Nice to see you all here tonight. I'd like to say thank you to Tom Menahan and Joe Bergen for the great help in the new Carpenter Poet book. I hope you all have one in front of you. There's a lot of great work in there, and it really stands up. It really does. I'm happy to have help in whatever way I could. My first poem is called Unfinished Work. She shows me her father's workshop. Tools on hooks, hammers, chisels, and racks, handsaws sharp and oiled, block planes, files, all bathed in a rich patina of dust, untouched since he passed. She smiles to see I am near. She smiles to know of my trade in tools and wood, while in this room, where the air is thick with time, like fine sawdust suspended in the glow of an overhead lamp. At the far end of the bench, a vise waits, its jaws open, its handle aching to be spun, wound like a clockwork gear, clamping the next piece of future. Thank you. I have to admit, I printed some of these out, well, the other couple out, because it's a little easier to read and the older you get, I guess. I have to admit that. My next one is The New Door in the Old Frame. It's in the book as well. You came into my life, my name, like a new door in this old frame, with the lintel shrugged and the pine floor heaved, with the panels cracked and the hinges grieved, with a doorknob spun and the lock refused, with the casing strained and the bullseyes mused, with a winter wind past the threshold blew, where the grass into the paint withdrew. You came into my life, my name, like a new door in this old frame. You came into my life, my eyes would build a world beneath your skies, with aching arms and calloused hands that felled the wood and cleared the land, with a backbone built to brace a beam, with a brain equipped to form a dream, with a heart that craved the heat of home, with a mind grown tired of being alone. You came into my life, my eyes would build a world beneath your skies. They came into our lives, our hands would hold them as an elm tree stands, within its mighty limbs a nest, with shells to warming feathers pressed. The love and shelter we'd provide, through sweat and labor, pain and pride. We have a reason to exist and strive, to watch them as they grow and strive. They came into our lives, our hands would hold them as an elm tree stands. You came into my life, my name, like a new door in this old frame. I'd like to finish up with this last one. It's actually the first Carpenter poem I ever wrote. It's called Carpenter's Answer. And I just never thought I'd be... I was one of the ones that wasn't a carpenter by birth. I think I inherited it, and I'm happy to be here now. It wasn't what I had in mind, but I'm happy to be here.
We're happy to have
you. Thank you. Carpenter's Answer. As a boy, I would sit... Oh, by the way, I want to follow this up. I don't know how many years ago this was. John Payne will tell you, but I don't want to listen to what he has to say, because he has one poem a year. He says it's 8 or 9. I don't want to believe that for a minute. But in one way, it's good to have that longevity, that continuity. In other ways, it's like, geez, 8 years, wow. Carpenter's Answer. As a boy, I would sit in a tree by a stream, pretending the cherries were stars in my dream. And I was a master on faraway seas, on the deck of my ship in a tropic night breeze. But there came a day when that tree felt the axe, and there was that stream that my youth could not pass. I gave up the sea for the family trade, the hammer and nail, the bit and the blade. My father bequeathed me his knowledge and name, He was his own man. Will I be the same? What shall I make now I'm given these tools? Should I build me a bridge with hammer and rule? Will I then cross that stream to the opposite side, fording stream after stream with the sun as a guide? Will I make that far seaport while day is still young? Will I be aboard when the lanterns are hung? Or will I search in these fields for my foundation stone, with contentment being found in what others have known? Will I build me a house bound by water and wood, mortised and tenon as post and beam should, plaster and lath and colonial shakes, yellow pine floors cut nail to the face? Would I find me a woman whom I could lay claim to, and then build us a child that we'd pin our name to? Could I build us a hope and a dream wrought in rhyme, and set it to music in the happiest time? Then dance to that tune with my woman and son, in my heart, in my arms, if the deed had been done? Would I build me a gate to my white picket yard, with a swing on a limb and a collie on guard? Would the universe bloom within my cherry tree for my son in the way that it once did for me? And once I've carved out a world from the spherical stone, which spins in the ether, its substance unknown, could I live with the thought that I never will touch what is sacred to drifters and dreamers and such? And would a day ever pass that I would not ache for the sea once I built my home on this lake? Then I see that boy on a swing and my wife. I take a deep breath and say, this is my life. Thank you very much.
I rewrote the words to an old song, and I'd like to dedicate this song to all the men here that I've worked with. Women? No women. Well, Carla. Actually, I worked with Carla. Thanks, Carla. But there's probably 10 men in this room I've worked with. And some of their sons, some of the best times in my life. And the most honest pay ever earned. So I was thinking about work in America, and I rewrote the lyrics to Willin'. I've been working this trade for over 30 years. Built some things that I've been proud of, some that brought me to tears, and I'm still willing. With a hammer and nails and a framing square, made something you could live in that hadn't been there, and I'm still, willing. And I've been from Tucson to Tucumcari, Loxahatchee to Ponkapoog, driven every kind of nail that's ever been made. No one got hurt and everybody got paid. Give me work, time and pine, and chalk to snap a straight line. I'll be willing to be working. The common man will take the upper hand. Along with brilliant women, we have plenty of sand, and we're still willing. Don't foreclose on us, we haven't gone bust. We got can-do know-how and plenty of crust, and we're stale. Well, and we've been through worse times than this, and you know it. Our history tells us so. We're all tooled up and got up early to go. So bring on the drawings and hand over the dough. And if you give us work, time and pine, and chalk to snap a straight line, I'll be willing to be building. He can put in a window and hang a door. He's busting his hump while Goldman Sachs makes more, and he's still willing. The country's money's been wasted on bailouts and war. The workforce stands ready to give it what for, and we're still willing. And we've got to tell our Congress down in Washington to help the folks back home. Spend the money from our taxes to help our home. We need a New Deal legislation from your Capitol dome. And if you give us work, time and pine, and chalk to snap a straight line, we'll be willing to be building. So turn off the news and turn off the fuss. We gotta maintain focus and do what we must, and we're still willing. Time is right to move ahead, with it's still a new frontier, like old JFK said, and we're still willing. And we've been from Tucson to Tucumcari, Waxahachie to Ponca, given every kind of nail that's ever been made. No one got hurt and everybody got paid. Give us work, time and pine, we always make it through fine, and we're staying willing to be working in America.